My name is Emily. I'm 24, and last summer I thought I was going away just to clear my head. I rented a small cabin by the lake, old wooden walls, a creaky dock, and the kind of silence that makes you hear your own heartbeat. I was tired of everything, the noise, the people, the meaningless relationships. I wanted peace, but peace came in a form I didn't expect. Her name was Clara. She was 58, the owner of the lake house next door. The first time I saw her, she was watering flowers on her porch wearing a light linen dress, her silver hair tied loosely, sunlight on her shoulders. She waved to me like we'd known each other forever. There was something in her eyes, calm, kind, but strong. I remember thinking how rare it was to see someone so composed. We started talking by accident. One morning, I was struggling with the old rowing boat tied to the dock. She came over smiling. "You need to loosen the rope, not fight it," she said, and helped me. Her hands were sure, steady. There was no rush in her. Every move felt deliberate, graceful. That first conversation lasted almost an hour. Over the next few days, we met often, sometimes by chance, sometimes not. We'd drink tea on her porch as the sky turned orange, and she'd tell me about the years she spent traveling before she bought the property. I'd listen, captivated, to her stories about places I'd only seen in pictures. There was an ease between us that I couldn't explain. She never treated me like a child, and yet I felt younger around her, but not small, not dismissed, just lighter. One evening, it rained. I ran to her porch for shelter, and she laughed when she saw me soaked through. "You always get caught in the rain?" she teased, handing me a towel. The smell of her house, cedarwood, tea, rain, felt like something I didn't know I'd missed. We sat there listening to the thunder roll across the lake. She told me about her late partner, about losing someone she'd loved for 20 years. Her voice didn't break. It softened. "I thought I was done feeling anything new," she said quietly. "But life keeps surprising us, doesn't it?" I nodded, not trusting my own voice. There was something about the way she looked at me, like she saw more than I said, more than I even knew how to say. The air between us felt alive, charged, but peaceful at the same time. When the rain stopped, she said, "Stay for tea." And I did. I didn't realize then that the night I stayed would be the beginning of something that would change both our lives. Not loud, not dramatic, but quietly, deeply, and completely. The next morning, the lake looked like glass. Mist hovered over the water, soft and white, and the air smelled of pine and wet earth. I hadn't planned on staying the night, but Clara didn't seem surprised when she found me sitting on the porch wrapped in a blanket, holding a cup of tea she'd left for me. She joined me quietly, sitting beside me in that slow, graceful way of hers. "It's always like this after the rain," she said. "The world exhales." We didn't speak much that morning. We didn't have to. The silence felt full, not empty, like it held something we both understood. I noticed how her hand brushed the wooden railing, how light touched her hair and made it glow faintly gold. It was strange, how natural it felt to watch her, to be there with her, as if we'd done it 100 times before. Over the following days, our rhythm settled into something gentle. We'd walk by the lake in the evenings, sometimes barefoot, sometimes lost in stories. She taught me the names of birds I'd never noticed, the difference between quiet and solitude. I started helping her around the garden, trimming, painting, carrying firewood. She'd laugh at my clumsy attempts, but always with warmth. One night, the power went out. The only light came from the fire and the reflection of lightning across the lake. Clara lit a few candles, and the room turned golden. I remember her saying, "When the lights go out, people start talking differently, slower, truer." She was right. I told her about my family, my restless need to leave the city, how I never felt like I fit in. She listened the way no one ever had, not waiting for her turn to speak, not judging, just there. When I looked up, she was watching me, not with pity, but with something like quiet understanding. "You remind me of who I used to be," she said softly, "before I stopped expecting magic from people." I smiled. "Maybe you just met the wrong ones." She laughed, but her eyes didn't leave mine. That silence returned, the one that hummed, alive, like the air before a storm. It wasn't about age or time or logic. It was about being seen, completely, without trying to hide. Outside, the storm began again, slow and steady. We sat there for a long time, the fire crackling, the wind moving through the trees. I don't remember who spoke last. Maybe neither of us did. But when she reached for my hand, it felt natural, like something that had always been meant to happen, just waiting for the right moment. The night passed softly, without hurry. When dawn came, the rain had stopped again, and the lake was still. She looked at me and said, "Sometimes, life gives you a second chance when you least expect it." And I realized I wasn't just a guest anymore. I was part of that quiet place, that house, that feeling.